All right, so this is an example that confused me for a while. And not this one, this one. All right? So the left hand says that alpha is true for every x, right? And what does the right-hand side say? Well, we think about it, x as being a free variable, right? So we're kind of thinking it's saying that alpha is true for every x. But that's not the case. So, if we just change the name here, like we plug in even, what's all that stuff up there doing? Let's work on making our life better. Let's not get into parsing. So here, this example. So, I mean, really what it's saying, if we have for all x, alpha of x implies alpha of some free variable here, we could even call it y, then the brackets are like this, right? It's saying for every y, this statement this statement is true. Right, audio levels. See, you turn things into the red and things go by. You guys can still hear me? So what's wrong? What's this statement saying, right? It's saying for every y, this is true. All right, well, let's just check a particular, oh no, yeah, I'm getting everything muddled. I go past, do this one here. Alpha of y implies, right? This is the one, all right, for every y, right? So at first you might think that this is what does this statement say? If I just tell you, right here, if I tell you alpha of y is true, right? Then what are you saying? You're saying it's a free variable, so it's true for every alpha, right? And then what's the next line of my proof, right? I can add the for all, right? So I can go, this can be a line of my proof, and I can go over and have this be a line of my proof, right? People follow that? But then what about this statement? This implies this. Well, if I went from this to this, I should be able to say that this implies this, right? But it turns out this statement is false. Why? Because the for all y is on the outside of everything, right? And if it's true for all y, it should be true, for example, for 0, right? And is this true, that if alpha is true for 0, it's true for every x? That's not true, right? Hence, it's not true that it's true for every y. Yeah? Oh, absolute. I mean, if this statement absolutely is true, right? If it's true for all y, it's true for all x, right? But the question is, this section's called free variable fail, right? What does this say? And it's a true, right? And it's kind of saying for every value y, example 0, If alpha is true for 0, it's true for all. Right? Does that make sense? And that's wrong. All right? So then, right now we're getting into this one, right? Here we're. So that's all the kind of things that I was saying, right? And so this proof, you can go from here to here in that proof, right? But so now let's see. Suppose I try to prove this, right? How do I prove it? Well, my goal is to prove this statement. So I assume this line, right? And then, well, I can add the for all x, right? And so then I get my proof, right? Everybody see that? And anybody remember what in our proof system makes this proof wrong? You need the little arrow, right? What we're saying is we're assuming this, right? But we're not assuming it with a free variable. We're assuming it with any constant you want, right? Is it any constant? Yes, so that when you go outside, it's a free variable again. But within the context of this assumption, it's one value, right? So, and here it's just saying here, what is our assumptions here? Here we're saying for all x, alpha x implies alpha x. That's true. Here we're saying for all x, alpha x implies all x. Well, this suddenly becomes false, right? People see that? And that's why we have to add this new notation, right? We say, hey, this is sort of like a free variable when we get outside of the assumption, but inside of the assumption, it's not a free variable. Right, everybody good? All right, I would say we let formal proofs be done now, unless anybody has questions. So did everybody hear my current disaster? Is I have a fun weekend planned, and your exam is on the Saturday of it. So I'm hoping to put out one of those doodles where you can all vote if there's a time we could move it to. That's not Saturday morning, right? I sent email to the undergrad office, and they said, well, it's not about rooms. It's about making sure everybody in the class doesn't have a conflicting, something on this that they're unhappy with. All right.